just go in person. He's really good at in person. Like if he does things immediately in person, that's how I get like most of the stuff. So today, just hunt him down, ask for emails. And then yeah, you should be able to do that research stuff. How's everyone doing? Waking up slow. It's Monday. Hope you guys didn't go too hard this weekend. Good morning. Okay. Good morning. How's it going? If you guys haven't filled out the form yet, I would really recommend doing that. I can show you. Come on. Remember, even after you fill it out, you have to submit it on Brightspace. Just like proof that you finished it, like the ending. The confirmation. And if you are confused about what this is, it is literally like a little thing that I put together with questions. Grade the teacher. So do this whenever, but it's due at the end of the day today. So I would really recommend it. Go Genesis, slay. And then yeah, just turn that in. If you're wondering where the link is, it is in GroupMe. So yeah, just a reminder that that's due at the end of the day today. Alright, let's get into it. How are you feeling today? It's early, it's morning, but we got a lot to get through. So let's start. Okay, so everyone log into Menti and give me some feedback. How are the graphs working out? Because now they're getting kind of dense. There's a lot of examples on the graphs. You don't have to memorize every single example, but it's there to like improve your comprehension of it. Yeah, let me know either on this or on the form that you guys are going to submit by the end of the day today. Yeah, you. What?
Can you read the code?
Yeah, the code is 82. Here, let me write it out. 8, 2, 6, 8, 7, 4, 1, 4. 1, 4. Yeah. If you guys are not awake yet, you can also submit it on the form. Please give me any kind of feedback, constructive feedback, please. Like one that was like, your handwriting is so messy, bro. I was like, yeah, I know, but like, I'm not gonna do anything about it. I'm sorry. My handwriting's always been that way. I mean, I'll try, but. Okay, so we have covered a lot so far. Learning is always a really, really dense chapter to get through. And I just wanted to go over everything so far. So he has talked about the basic hardware, right? We're talking about responding. And with responding, we covered sensory, habitation, habituation, and reflexes. You should be able to remember that from last week's lectures, and if not, definitely go over it. We talked about predicting with Pablo, Watson, and the acronym I made, GLOBES, or the mnemonic. And then now we're going to talk about operating today, which is Thorndike, Skinner, and schedules of reinforcement. So, in case you guys are still confused about last week, let's go over it. First of all, I hope you guys know that everything I say today is already in graph form. There's already notes on it. I think you owe me an exam, Akape. I think you owe me an exam. Yeah, so if you don't know what this is how to find it. You find it in charts. It's under my recitation slide right here. And then once you're done with that, I would definitely recommend testing yourself. Bro, we did this last week. It should look familiar. If it doesn't, go check it out. I just wanted to let you guys know, in case you guys aren't auditory people, that it's also literally in notes. And I really, really recommend that you practice these charts and practice some way of memorizing this shit, because it's gonna add up quickly. Like all the stuff that you went over last week, it's just gonna get more and more dense. And so I really, really recommend keeping on it at this point of the semester. Like this unit in particular is really dark. Okay. I'm hoping that you guys can do those graphs at home and you guys can test yourself in your own time. Yeah, I guess I don't have to grade it for accountability. I also know that some people legit won't look at other resources unless it's graded. So yeah, I guess you guys are, chilling, if not grading. Okay, slay. Please use your resources. Please, please, please. They are there for you to use. And also all of this kind of stuff, I want to let you know that it's not in charts, but I had to cover somebody, I'm forgetting who, in the psych sign up, and so I took notes, and it has all the stuff that we went over: consciousness, pre-conscious, unconscious, with the ego, superego ID. It has the whole iceberg. It has stuff on Stroop and the cocktail and all that fun stuff that we went over forever ago. And then it also has the stuff that we're going to cover today. I know somebody gave me feedback in the forum that it's hard to understand the pictures without info. The info is literally in other forms. You can find the info to understand the charts in notes and stuff. So I don't give the definition on the picture because I have it in word form afterwards. But yeah, you should test yourself to see if you understand these pictures. This is a chart to help you figure out how to do the response for this, because I know a lot of people struggled with it. Except this class is slaying it. You guys are slaying unconditioned stimuli and conditioned stimuli and all that. But yeah, everything I covered today is going to be on here, okay? Everyone know how to get there? Raise your hand. And I also happened to cover last week because another person couldn't do it, and so yeah, I got this too. And this is all about memory and shit, so we've got a lot to cover today. We're going to finish up behavioralism, and we're going to dive into memory. So let me get to it. Okay. So we already know the basic hardware, which is responding. That's sensory, reflexes, and habituation. Let's go over that. Sensory stuff is essentially, we covered this before when we were talking about sensation and perception. We talked about proximal and distal senses. I hope you all know your 5 senses. I will be very concerned if y'all can't define what a proximal sense is. What are the 2 proximal senses? Can we define senses? First of all, someone throw me a sense.
Touch.
Yeah. Touch. What else? Don't make me start cold calling y'all. For real. Sorry. Can't hear you guys. Come on. Taste. What else is there? Smell. Yep. What else? This should be basic stuff. I feel like we don't have to review this, but I'm going to wake you guys up a little bit. Hearing. Yep. One more. Mm-hmm. And which ones are proximal? Which ones you can't do from across the room?
Taste and touch.
Yeah. Think about it if, how you interact with someone. Can you taste someone from across the room? No, you cannot. So therefore, taste. Can you touch someone from across the room? No, you can't. So, these are proximal. And then these are distal. You can smell someone from across the room. I smell it on the subway all the time. I hear people all the time on the subway. I see people all the time on the subway. Like, these are all distal, okay? So these are all your senses. They're your first line of defense when going up against a cat if you're a mouse, but important. Reflexes, these are the things that come innately. In class, you talked about sleeping, eating, mating, finding a nest. These are all types of reflexes. Nobody has to teach you that. It's innate. It's kind of like trained within you. And then habituation, he talked about it as a cat like getting used to, or no, a mouse getting used to, I think, a cat or something, and basically realizing it's not a threat anymore. And essentially what it's doing is it's conserving energy, because if you're responding to a threat like it's the first time you're seeing it, that's a lot of energy that's going into that like freak out zone. And so habituation is also what they use in exposure therapy. If you're afraid of, like, say, spiders or caterpillars or I don't even know, something like that, they'll show you a picture of it. They'll make you envision holding it in your hand. They'll make you envision it crawling all over you, and then slowly through habituation, you'll be like, oh, okay, I'm chilling now. I'm chilling. I'm less terrified of it. But yeah, these are the 3 things in responding. Okay, this is a bit of review. What does I just exacerbated baby Albert stand for? Think people, okay? You can also memorize it however you want, but this helps you memorize like main people. I for Pablo's dogs. Ivan Pablo. This is also in chronological order too. Pablo. I always spell his name wrong. Check it. J for, I'll put that as a hint. Did the little Albert experiment. Don't make me cold call. Come on.
Watson?
Yep. John Watson. E for, you can also just tell me the last name, but do know that eventually you will have to learn first names if you take clinical psych. I originally made this acronym in clinical psych, so this is just me recycling my own, like, Edward Thorndike, you're right. Edward Thorndike. And then BS. Yeah. His name is like BF, which I think is so funny. Skinna. And then later, if you go on, and I think we'll have to learn about him later, but it's Albert Bandura. And I thought that was just nice because like baby Albert is the experiment that we already know, but then Albert like just is like, it's so nice. Bandura. So learn it now, memorize it because you'll have to know it later in clinical psych. And it kind of takes us down, yeah, Slay, look it up. It takes us down like this chronological list, right? We're going into predicting and operating, right? These are the 3 main things that he focuses on: responding, predicting, and operating. Predicting is just Pablo and Watson, and then operating is just Thorndike and Skinner. So like breaks it down real nice. You will have to know people. This is like the first test where you'll have to know people for real, and you also have to know, what they do in the experiments and all that. So do know that you have to explain all that. And let's do a little recap. Who made the term classical conditioning? Who was the homie? Was it Skinner? Was it Thorndike? Was it Pablo? Yeah, Slay. Easy. Very Slay. Yeah, Ivan Pablo. He was the OG guy. He was actually just studying like the gastrointestinal tracts of dogs, but then he was like, oh my god, these dogs are psychic because they're salivating before like I even give them food. But then he found out they're not psychic, it's just classical conditioning. which is kind of a bummer. That'd be cool. And what does GLOBE stand for? This is a way to memorize all the aspects of classical conditioning. Learning sloppily, learning slowly, learning, relearning, extinction. That was one of the terms. That kind of shit. I can run it through you guys again if you need. Let me do that. Let me just like give you a little hint. Okay, think about it for a sec. You don't have to say it out loud, but see if you can do this in your head. Okay? Do you know the learning sloppily, slowly, all that stuff? Someone's got it. Yeah. Go them. That bitch does not have to study. Doing good. Or he's doing good. We got generalization. Which is in class he talked about how the cat or the mouse saw other types of cats and was like, oh shit, like I should stay away from that. It wasn't just that one particular cat, you know. Generalization is really important. Latent inhibition. People always forget this one. People always get caught up on this one. Inhibition. It basically means that if the stimulus is already there throughout the entire experiment, it's going to be harder to train it as like a brand new experiment. For example, I eat breakfast every day, and that's a lie, but I'm going to say that for now. And if I wanted to do like positive, negative reinforcement with it, where I was like, okay, if I do good on my exam, then I get to eat breakfast. It's going to be harder because I already do that all the time. So like, something that already exists is going to be harder to introduce as new. Does that make sense? Does that like capiche with y'all? Hey you. And then overgeneralization. Overgeneralization is like kind of like this, but it becomes like a detrimental thing. The generalization is good, you know, like I want to be afraid of all things that would kill me, not just that one particular thing. Overgeneralization is like when it becomes like adverse to you. The example I gave last time was when I was trying to classically condition myself into getting addicted to studying, and I tried to use Zins, but instead I just got a really severe tobacco addiction. Because I overgeneralized it to like anybody opening a laptop or like any building that looked remotely like Vogue's, and it was not cute. Don't try it at home. Great job. Yeah. And then blocking. Blocking is essentially like you can only learn one stimuli at a time. If on the test he's like, yo, like, I'm training this dog to this bell, but I also want to add in this light, and they're having a hard time adding in the additional light. What is this an example of? You guys are going to say. Blocking. Yeah. She's the only one awake today, y'all. And extinction. Extinction. I can spell extinction. That's essentially when you stop reinforcing something, and so therefore you stop wanting it, or you stop responding to it. Let's see. I don't know why I'm having a hard time coming up with an example for this, but it's really simple. You just like stop doing it if you stop getting reinforced for it. For example, if I was like paying a tutor to help me do my work and they stopped being really great at tutoring, I would stop paying them. Extinction. Okay, another kind of multiple choice question. Don't get the dogs and the baby mixed up, okay? Remember who does who. Remember who came first. Remember names. And that whole breakdown right here. How do we feel about this? Do we need to do this again? The chart? Do we feel good about unconditional stimuli, conditional stimuli, all that? Yeah? Seeing some nods. Seeing some people falling asleep. Okay, well, I'm going to skip it for now. If you ever need me to go through it again, you can watch the recordings on Brightspace, or you can come to my office hours on Wednesday. If a neutral stimulus, so if you guys don't need me to go through it, then how do you tell these apart? Like the bell, for example, with the dog, you know, is technically the same. It's a bell ringing. It's the same stimuli. So how are you supposed to tell them apart? If I were to fill this out, food, and unconditional response, salivation, and then the bell ringing, and then it's bell ringing. I know my handwriting's bad. I actually have like a literal learning disorder for it. Dysgraphia, ringing, and then conditional response is salivation. So how would you tell these apart? People get this confused. They're like, bro, if it's the same, then like what? What? The answer is what it's in response to, like at what time. Is it before conditioning or is it after conditioning? So ask yourself, like, is it a brand new stimuli that they're just introducing, or is it like after conditioning? A way to think about this is, remember when I split it into phase 1, 2, and 3? Like preconditioning, during conditioning, post-conditioning? If he like tries to trick you up with like, what's the difference of this? Just ask like, is it before conditioning, so it's just literally like any neutral stimuli? Or has it been trained through multiple trials to be paired with something, okay? Yeah. Person's awake. We're gonna take it slow. We're gonna go chill. I know some of y'all are recovering from the weekend. Like, let me know if I'm going too fast, okay? Unconditional response and conditional response are the same. If these are the same, then how are you supposed to tell them apart? Tricky question.
Before or after conditioning?
Yeah, you got it. Very simply, it's like, is it in response to unconditioned stimuli like food, or is it in response to a conditioned stimuli that has been gone through conditioning? Exactly what you said. So, don't get these mixed up. They're gonna be the same thing, but in different time frames and in reaction to different things, okay? And if that is confusing, because I know someone gets confused every year, come talk to me. Okay, so just like that, we have gone through a lot of shit. We've gone through, technically, the dog stuff, Albert stuff, Pablo. We've gone through Pablo, Watson. Look at us. We're getting through it. And we went through globes. How are you feeling about that? Any questions? This is your time to shine. Yes.
Explain the difference between generalization and overgeneralization.
Yeah. The way that I think about it is that generalization is good for survival. And then overgeneralization is like not good for survival. And it's just yeah, I think about it that way, and I also think about what like another person would normally do, like generalize it to maybe some cat faces or that kind of thing, versus overgeneralization is just like really, really severe. For example, maybe a rat is afraid of a cat, and generalization would be, okay, I'm afraid of all cats. Overgeneralization would be like really extreme, like, oh my god, I'm afraid of all animals, or I'm afraid of anything that moves, you know? It's pretty distinct, and he probably won't like make you try to decipher it on the day of the test, but you can pretty much see the severity and like what is like casual generalization and what is like severe generalization. Yeah. If you are still confused about it, just think, is this good for survival or bad for survival? Okay? Any others? Yes.
What are the P's and B's for on the touch, taste, smell, hearing, sight? On the
Oh, that's proximal and distal.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went back a little bit in time to sensation and perception. So long ago, but I still really recommend going over the brain. And we were talking about proximal, which is things you can do to a person when. Can you do it across a room? Is the question that I always ask myself. And these are the things you can do across the room. This is what you cannot do across the room. You cannot taste a person from across the room or touch a person from across the room. Think about it that way. Okay, if there's no questions, I'm going to go on to Skinner. Last little 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're continuing. Okay, so now we're in operating, okay? And now we're going from like classical conditioning to like operant. That's why it's operating. And I will explain the differences, so don't you worry, but I'm going to break down the people first. If we're following the I just exacerbated baby Albert, after John Watson, we have Thorndike. Thorndike, you might remember from lecture, he was all about putting cats in boxes and then having them like viciously try to get out of the box, and so the cat would try literally everything, like scratching, pushing, digging, meowing, pressing, and after just trial and error, the cat figured out like how to get out. I think it was pushing, pretty sure it's pushing, and all of those are behavioral mutations, and so the more variety that you get, the more likely you're going to find that thing that gets you out. And then he found out that if he puts the cat in the same box with the same kind of lever thing, the cat's going to quickly learn, okay, wait, I just pushed the lever and I'm out. And so he was like, wow, this is not like classical conditioning where it's like very subconscious and like the animal barely knows that they're doing it. Like this is a cat like thinking for real. This is a cat with IQ. This is a cat learning. And he was like, okay, what if we can use like conditioning, but like make it conscious? Like what if we could harness it and use it for like education and shit? And so he came across with the law of effect. And he was talking more about like emotional feelings. Like if you do something that benefits you like and you're happy, then you're gonna do more of that. And if you do something that like makes you severely sad, then you're gonna do less of that. Does that make sense to y'all? This is called the law of effect. And there is a really, really, really long quote of law and effect, but I really hate it, so I summarized it. It's very simple, y'all. The law of effect is if it feels good, you do more of it. If it feels bad, you do less of it. It's like, does that feel like intuitive to y'all? It's basically saying like, okay, it's not all subconscious like Pavlov and Watson and all of that classical stuff. Like we have feelings. We are conscious of our feelings. If something makes us feel good, we're going to do more of it. If something makes us feel bad, we're going to do less of it. And that is the law of effect. This is the most popular thing that gets quizzed on, by the way, every year after year, in almost every class. So, I really recommend that you know this, and we're gonna practice this a couple times. So everyone, get on Menti. Put in your questions. What is the law of effect? Is it that people can subconsciously associate stimuli together and react accordingly? Is it people repeating rewarding behaviors and discontinuing non-rewarding behaviors? Is it that we're all secretly evil and we're hiding it deep down in our unconscious? Okay, good. Now I'm really drilling this down because I will bet you 20 bucks, anybody, that he will put this on the exam. So, do it in your own words. See if you can pick it out of a lineup. Good, do more. Bad, do less. Yes. Law of effect. Yep. Really drill this down, guys. There's so much information. I know it's overwhelming. I know it's a lot to memorize, but this is like simple shit. Okay, I want to continue because we got a lot of stuff to go through. Skinner was like, oh my god, this guy, he's like doing some real teaching stuff. He's like doing this law of effect that's checking to see if our emotions have a role in like how we respond. I'm gonna coin it. And he coined it operant conditioning, and because of that he got famous instead of Thorndike, this guy. Do you know that Skinner stole it from right underneath Thorndike? And all Thorndike got was law of effect. Skinner was like, I'm gonna coin it and I'm gonna become famous just because I coined it. And it's literally the same stuff. He was just like, yeah, like people can learn consciously and like respond accordingly. But because he coined it, he got a lot of credit. He is known for the Skinner box. He also had a Skinner box that he put his own child in and was like trying to create like a controlled environment and to like see how he could influence like her behavior growing up. Strange one. His daughter eventually had to come out and be like, no, I'm not being abused, guys. I'm like totally fine. I'm not claustrophobic. Like it's good. But he was another guy that was really into operant conditioning. Let me think. And a lot of people get operant and classical mixed up, so I'm gonna go through it. Classical, it's usually passive. If you think about the dogs, they weren't consciously like, oh my god, I'm about to hear this bell, and when that happens, I should salivate. It was more like the bell happens, they salivate. Whereas on the other hand, that cat knew exactly what it was doing. That cat was in control of it. That cat was like, okay, if I press this lever, then I will be able to open that and get out. This is out of your control. This response is like out of your control. You can't be like, I'm going to salivate right now. If you can do that on command, I am very curious on how you do that and kind of want to learn. But voluntary response, that is an action within your control. Know the differences. Involuntary versus voluntary responses. The key terms around that, reinforcement and punishment. There's a whole chart on reinforcement and punishment that I am so glad he's not having you learn. That will be a later suffering kind of thing for you guys. But it will come around and it will haunt you. And shaping. Also, I would say the different schedules of reinforcement that we're about to go over too. And then an example, classical conditioning is Pablo's dog salivating when he hears a bell. It should be like monotonous at this point. You should be able to say this in your sleep. And then operant conditioning is a student gets an A for studying and learns that studying prevents them from getting verbally harassed by their parents. And so because of that, the reward increases the behavior. I'm like, wow, I should get A's all the time. This is so great. I'm not like spending an hour of my life just getting like beat up by my parents. That's great. So does everyone see how one is conscious and the other is unconscious? Good? Okay. Okay, so if you get confused by this, the reinforcement schedules, there's a lot of information. I'll show you, like there's like four different types. Yeah, five different types. Yeah, 5 different types. And so if you get confused, I want you to ask yourself, is it time-based or trials-based? And do you get rewarded every time or randomly? Okay? Time-based would be interval. Number of trials will be ratio. Do you get rewarded every time would be fixed or randomly, variable. Are we feeling those questions? Mm-hmm.
Wait, sorry, could you break this down in the, like, 'cause I'm getting confused with like the...
Oh, yeah, you mean the, do you mean the notes that I put up? I don't know if I put these questions in the study guide, but I know that this chart is in there. Yeah, informational charts. Bow, 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 bow. This is where you can find this.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
thank
Are you looking for like those questions specifically? Because that's right here.
Oh, thank you.
You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, slay. And if you don't know where these charts are, it's under charts. Like, if I had to go here. I hope you guys all know how to use Brightspace by now. It's not exam 1, exam 2, charts. And then when you're done with that, you can test yourself. And yeah. Okay, we're going back. Okay, so let's break it down. This is a lot of info. What the hell just happened? Here we go. Okay, so please stop glitching. Can you calm down for a second? Bro? You good? Okay. Okay. So, first question is it number of trials or is it time-based? Think about like how you get paid, for example. Like I don't get paid but at the end of every hour. I get paid every 2 weeks. That's like a interval of time. And I know that's coming. That's fixed, you know. I'm not like, oh, I'm just going to get paid a random amount at some random time. Like I know that in every 2 weeks I'm getting my paycheck. That's good. That is a fixed interval right there. Another example is checking your email a lot as it gets closer to the time of the professor usually posts grades on Brightspace, but then once grades are up, you stop obsessively checking for a while. Like it increases as the time for the reward approaches. Does that make sense? Fixed ratio, I always like to think about like sticker charts. I did ABA therapy for a while. I know, sue me. But I was in ABA therapy, so that's why I got into it. So don't sue me. And we did a lot of this kind of reinforcement of like every time you do something good, you get a sticker. Or every time you do something for an entire day, you get a sticker. This would be for an entire day because it's interval. Ratio would be like every time you do 3 things, you get a sticker. Okay? Another example of fixed ratio is I like to go to VV Bubble Tea, and I'm always losing those tiny little cards they have where if you get stamped, you know, they'll give you a free one. Every time I buy 5 purchases, they might give me a free bubble tea. That's an example of fixed ratio. Continuous is every time it happens, you get a sticker or you get a reinforcement. Does that make sense? I can also break it down in graph form if that helps. If it was, for example, fixed or variable. And then if it was ratio or interval. Okay. To wake you guys up a little bit, can anyone give me an example of a fixed ratio reinforcement schedule?
Every like 2 trials they get a reward.
Okay, 2 trials. Reward. Okay. Can anyone give me an example of a fixed interval? You guys got this. Wake up. Come on. Fixed interval?
Based on time, like every 2 weeks or?
Mm-hmm. And you know for certain. 2 weeks, sure. Paycheck. Can anyone give me a variable ratio?
It's a
Think
random
Vegas.
num-
What?
It's like a random number of trials, but it averages out to a certain number,
Yeah.
like a slot machine.
Yeah. Like this is actually the most evil one. I remember my best friend and I went to Atlantic City on the off season where nobody went. And it was completely empty, and we just explored all these abandoned casinos. But the saddest thing was that there were some people that were there all day, all week, just pulling on that slot machine over and over. It's because this kind of thing is very, very, very reinforcing. I had to delete online Uno because of this. It's kind of like gambling, but like it feels good, that anticipation. You're like, ooh, okay, maybe this time's gonna be it. That is actually even more reinforcing than like, for example, our grading system that we have up. Every time you turn something in, you know you're gonna get it back at some point, you know? If it was variable, I bet people would get like way more into it or some shit. But yeah. And then I was focusing. Variable ratio is like Vegas or Atlantic City. And then variable interval. Anyone?
It's the same thing except with time instead of number of times.
Yeah. Like anticipating. You don't exactly know, but you know it's coming.
Would it be like a diploma?
A diploma.
Yeah.
I feel like you know when you're gonna get your diploma. So that would be like fixed. Like I don't like expect my diploma to like come. Oh, I get. You mean in the mail? You don't mean like graduation style? Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, like, sure. A variable interval would be like waiting for your Amazon to deliver in the mail if you don't know the delivery time, or waiting to get your diploma. If you knew, like, it was graduation day and you're like getting your diploma, that would be fixed because you know it's gonna happen. And yeah, I don't know if that would be a form of reinforcement because you like get it once. But yeah, that's pretty slick. Yeah. But yeah, those are the 5 types. Continuous is just like really easy. It's like every time you do it, you get a reward.
What are the two boxes say by ratio fixed and interval fixed? What does it say?
Yeah, sure. You said fixed.
Yeah, that I don't know what does it say.
Oh, this one says number of trials equals reward. And then the one under that is every 2 weeks you get a paycheck. And I am varying the examples that I give in class from the ones that you can see on this because I just want you to have as many examples as possible. But know that both of these are valid, okay? There's no like one example you have to memorize. These are like to help your comprehension. Please don't spend like a billion years trying to memorize every single example I give. I would maybe memorize his examples though, because that moth question I'm still thinking about. I'm like, what was the peppered moth question? Like, bro, what? And just like that, we are getting through it. Look at us. Look at us. We thought it was so much work, but we've got it. Okay, and just like that, we are done with behavioralism. We're gonna go on to memory. We're going fast today. Anyone? Going once. Going twice. 3 times, sold to nobody. Okay, so I made like a super long mnemonic that you can use if you want to memorize all the little things about memory. We're gonna go through it, and then after we're done going through it, we're gonna break into small groups, and you guys are gonna make your own little charts up there, okay? I have Post-it notes right there. Don't ask me. It's right there, okay? And if it falls down or you have any issue, it's there. I'm hoping you guys have pens. You can figure it out. I believe in you. So we're gonna break down memory. And I would pay attention because I'm going to be going from group to group to group, and you will explain like every little thing. So let's get started. This is an acronym if you want to know it that way. If you don't, that is totally fun too. You can memorize it this way. Does this look familiar? It is from class. We got, our memory breaks down into 3 things, okay? 3 main ones. We got sensory memory. That's stuff that you're immediately like sensing and you remember the touch or you remember the sound. It's like the very first thing that's happening. Then we got working memory. That's literally what you are using right now as you listen to me or as you recall what you need for whatever exam or whatever you need. Long term is like more historical. Think about stuff that you're not actively thinking about, but you just know, like your own name, for example, or like your mother's maiden name, or like that kind of stuff. There's explicit ones. You can put words to these kinds of memories, these long-term memories, and implicit ones. So that's, you can't put words to it. That's the main way I just like determine the difference between these. Words to it, no words to it, okay? Explicit breaks down into semantic and episodic, and I am going to do my own pictures because I like them more. Like this, we have sensory, working, long-term, and I don't know why he didn't put this, but most classes will say that going from working memory to long-term is a form of consolidation. I think he just threw in that word when giving another example, but you should probably know that consolidation, when you're putting together all the notes you made in class and it's all jumbled, right? And you're like, okay, I'm gonna make my study guide now. I'm gonna like write it all out nice, and it's not gonna be like 7 different pages of stuff. That's consolidation, okay? You're putting it away into your long-term memory. And then retrieval is like when you're like, thinking back, like, what was that thing? What did I have for lunch yesterday, or something like that? That's retrieval. Okay, so iconic memory is literally visual memory. I like to think about it because it's an icon. Think about it like as that snapshot that you see. Like if you see a picture and then you have to like quickly draw it down, that's an iconic memory that you're trying to recall and write down. I have a really visual memory. I don't think in like words, I think in pictures. So that's mainly my kind of memory. Echoic, like its name, echo, is about hearing. So you are all using your echoic memory right now to listen to me, hopefully. Listening to me. Get off your phone. You. Yeah, get off your phone. Echoic memory is and yeah, I hope you guys are all using your echoic memory right now. Listening to the lecture over before the exam, that's echoic memory, okay? And then you decide what you want to retain, and this is through attention into working memory. The reason why I add this little step here is because there's a lot of shit that goes on around me that I have no memory of. Like, for example, I'm walking around, like, New York all the damn time. I'm not taking in every single sensory thing. Like, I'm not memorizing the entire street around me. I'm only paying attention to, like, 3 different things. So there's, like, a kind of filtering step here into working memory, what you're using right now. Kind of explained it already. Consolidation, retrieval. You can think about it that way, okay? Okay, let's break it down more. Somebody in the form response for like, great, you're a professor, said they wanted more like words so they can understand the slides more. These are words. I know that a lot of TAs just use words. I'm more of a picture girly, but these are words. I'm not gonna read them because I don't feel like it. Yeah. Okay. So, we have covered, oh, come on. What is up with it today? We have covered iconic, all eyes on me. We have covered echoic, echoic, that's auditory. We have covered working, we have covered long-term, and now we're going to go into implicit and explicit, okay? So the first one is explicit. That means you can verbalize it. There's 2 types, episodic and semantic. Okay, so episodic, think about your favorite TV show, for example. That's an episode. There's time, there's place, there's a whole story and timeline going on. That is like explicit things that you can remember, recall, and it's like a story almost. For example, I could probably tell you my first day of school when I was in the 1st grade. Actually, I can't tell you that. I have a terrible episodic memory, but most people can tell you, like, they can verbalize, like, what middle school they went to, for example, or, like, when their first day in college. Like, it's kind of like that historical autobiographical stuff. And what's really interesting is it's, even if you don't have like a vivid recollection of it, you can still remember it happened to you. Like, I don't remember my entire middle school class, but I still remember what school I went to, and even though I can't see the school anymore in my mind, I still know the name of it. I can verbalize it. And then semantic is more of just like random facts that you know from like classes you've taken, like trivia. I really want you guys to remember it as like random trivia. And like this kind of stuff. This is hidden pictures because I'm a picture girly. Semantic memory. What you use to play the New York Times crossword puzzle is semantic memory. So, just to put that into your mind a little bit better, we are going to do that right now. I know that some of y'all are probably playing it right now, so I figured we might as well do it in class. Because I'm always in class like playing this instead of paying attention. So, this is semantic memory. We're using it right now. Let's go through it quickly. Anyone remember any of these? We're not gonna have time for a comp check today. He's also behind, so I can't even give you a comp check. But, anyone? Kenna? 8 is.
Oh, no, I meant like 8, like you ate.
Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, slay. A moose? No. Deer. Everyone feel good about deer?
Oh, crossing.
Crossing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I also thought.
Why is my semantic memory like failing me right now, bro? I've got like 0 semantic memory.
Deer sounds good.
Deer. Okay.
Rear.
Rear. Look at you. Someone's semantic memory's in check. Okay. Tubular noodles. Rigatoni.
Oh, hey.
Oh, you're so smart, bro. Penny.
Tag they're gonna add on social media.
Added, acted. Emitted light. Tag.
Oh,
But they already have it in there.
Oh,
It
yeah.
can't be like.
Just 2 G's.
Oh yeah, 2 G's. You're right. Material for mason, like mason jar. That's glass. No, mason stone.
Boom.
Stone. Okay. Come on, let's wake up. Let's use our semantic memory. I want to hear from this side of the room.
Oh,
Let's
is
wake
it
up, y'all.
one
Let's wake up.
gosh? Is it
Semantic
one?
memory this shit right now.
Oh,
Is it one down?
one down gosh.
Gosh.
Oh, there you go.
Look at you guys. Okay. What about anyone feel like 5 across or 1 across?
Or maybe it's not gosh.
Goop. No.
I'm shocked.
Gulp.
Oh.
Is it?
That might be.
I don't. Wait. Let me think about them down.
I think. Ooh, but shocked needs a little more passion than gulp. Gulp is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is emitted light? What does that
Shown.
mean?
SH.
Oh.
Shown. But then like we would have to do. Oh yeah,
Gas,
shown.
Gas.
Oh, okay. And then other. I love that sound. I'm so classically conditioned into like adoring that sound. I'm like, oh, thank you. Very slay. But yeah, no, I'm always doing this, so I figured I would do it in class this time, so it's technically legal and you're not just like screwing around. But that is an example of using your semantic memory. Everyone know the difference between episodic and semantic now. Okay? So, this is it in words. I don't feel like reading, mainly because I suck at it. If this semester were a season in the show of your life, what would it be called? This is a callback to episodic memory. You're currently making episodic memory. This is going to go into your long term in some way, shape, or form. I'm asking you how you're coding. your episodic memory into long term. What are you going to remember from this semester? We're halfway through already. Are we? Or more? Icky. Hell. Oh shit. Beginning of college. That's so cute. Love that. Migraine season. Okay. I'm a little worried about you guys now. Someone put something cute up there. Meow. Okay. It's very abstract name for the season show of your life. Okay, slay. So, episodic memory. It's like your autobiographical memory, if we want to look at this picture, for example. If you were writing, like the memoir of your life, episodic memory is like that, okay? This is how explicit. This is what we're verbalizing. Like, you can probably verbalize this semester and summarize it, you know? Now we're going to go into implicit. Happy times. Okay, fresh start. Very slay. Implicit is the stuff you can't verbalize. And we got plenty of this, you know? Like when you're riding a bike, for example, you're not thinking, oh my god, one foot after the other, after the other, after the other. You're just like doing your thing. It's muscle memory, okay? There are memories that are stored in our body. If you guys are interested in that, you should read The Body Keeps Score. It's about trauma in the body. But that is an example of procedural memory, muscle memory. For example, writing. You don't practice how to write the alphabet every day, but somehow you still remember how to write. Like it's in your muscle. It's procedural. Like patient HM, even though he got his like frontal lobe like barbecued, he still like remembered how to like write it out. And priming is another example. We get primed all the time. Right now, I'm hoping to prime you guys for the day of the exam. I'm giving you another way to remember this in your long term. I'm hoping to give you the context like cues to remember. These are all context cues, okay? Try to remember this on the day of the exam. The example he gave in class, because I think it's really important to go over his examples now, is word stem completion. And I think he also talked about lexical decision making, which is essentially like it's easier for neurons to fire collectively if it's like a similar word. The example he gave was a scalpel and a doctor will have overlapping neurons that fire together. But a scalpel and a teacher is like, bro, that you never associate those. If you do, you should be worried, like what's going on in that school, like. And because of that, they're very separate, okay? They're not really associated with each other. They don't have that kind of distributed representation that binds them together. And so priming is kind of like that. So yeah, we have covered sensory, iconic, echoic, working, consolidation, retrieval, long-term, explicit, implicit, episodic, semantic, priming, procedural. And just like that. Holy shit, yeah.
What would be your definition of priming? Because actually I have lexical decision task like under semantic instead of priming.
I guess it's an example of, I guess it can be seen as verbal, like semantic, but I also think it has like aspects of priming. I would have to, I define it as like past experiences that unconsciously influence future behavior. And I think it's really tied into this distributed representation and that kind of stuff. I think there's a lot of overlap.
Okay.
Distributed representation can be applied to a lot of these, actually. Like, I think he talks about retrieval cues and distributed representation. I was gonna make a whole thing for that, but instead I wanted you guys to do an activity. But you can find more information on that in the notes that I covered for somebody. And I also, I took notes 2 weeks in a row, bro. I was not about that. I'm not doing that again. You can find it in like this chart. And I kind of started to slowly lose my mind, so it's not really finished, but it's still got some stuff. It's got some teacher notes too, like I like to teach differently from nulls in a different structure so you can remember it differently and you have a broader representation of those retrieval cues. You can remember it by the way he taught it in lecture. Short answers and finding key terms, okay? It's just gonna be about finding key terms and remembering what terms you should define on the day of the exam. Because if you like forget to put like unconditioned stimulus, but you put like conditioned response, like, bro, that's not gonna get you full points at all. But yeah, I'll turn this out. I'll put this out at the end of the class, and I will cover this next week. What would Natalie do? Natalie would do term, definition, and example, okay? If you want to prep for next week, go look at this online. I have not released the answers yet. But for now, we are going to make our own charts and activities because this is a lot of terms, and I know it's all really crazy right now, and so I want you guys to really get this down. So I'm going to count you guys off. I am going to go from that side of the room. This side has to wake up now. I'm talking to you guys. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you don't know your group, literally just join anyone. I literally don't care. I'm just trying to make it even. Okay, disperse. Yeah. And if you don't know, like, how to meet up with people, just literally go to your chart number. Your chart number is over there, okay?
Higher number? Yeah, I think it's 3.
You can join any group, bro. I literally don't care. And this is an example of how you were supposed to put the terms on the chart in case you are worried. Okay, you feel good about that? Okay, get into our groups. Some group work. Get into it. Move your bodies. Wake up. Stop playing New York Times crossword. Got it. If you guys really don't remember your numbers, I'm gonna be so pissed right now though. Okay, just like split into even groups if you don't remember your number. Okay, so start off, like what is what?
You do like the memory chart that breaks down.
I forgot how many there are of you. Okay, like move tables if you're confused. Hermione, will you push that back to me? And if you need Post-its,
So does working split into one working's in the middle?
Let's just say 3.
divide it up. Do your thing.
Okay, there's this one.
Yeah, you can have or this one's better actually.
And then
You know what, it's okay, we don't need it.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Are we just leaving? Yeah, I think so. And then one's episodic. Does episodic split?
Yeah.
Oh, and then episodic goes in one of these.
Explicit.
Is it episodic? Explicit is this one?
Procedural.
I think that one was supposed to split.
What's supposed to split? This one?
Everyone else has it. Episodic is or no, wait. Primary and procedural.
Where? Or I can put the same. Splits into 2? Yeah.
There's primary and there's
Procedures like muscle memory. Brain memory. Like when you do something in your mind without you having to think of it.
Isn't there a difference between we didn't we like
This is like how to write
words.
words. And this is you see a word, you can kind of figure it out.
like what what you just said. What's the difference between this and like?
So this is the things that, and then.
So this is like I guess that's like right before we
Like I can tell you what I
I thought
did.
procedural
I'm
was-
asking.
Oh right, but I was saying I think procedural was like remembering how to like remember.
Yeah, like how to make
Oh,
is it the other way around?
okay. Procedural, I don't know. I feel like why the name makes sense for it to be like.
Procedure is kind of getting more.
Oh, I think you see what you're.
You can use the tape if you want, yeah. Okay.
Sensory though, that's like.
It's very short term, it's like what just happened.
What just happened? But then what's different than why is it not?
Working would be like
Are we done? I mean, we finished,
this
right?
is like trying to
We have to present.
Keep going.
you know what I mean? It's like getting well
Okay. Sensory is like milliseconds, okay? Like you're using your sensory information to figure out what I'm saying in this sentence right now, okay? That is like seconds to minutes. Working can be like up to 30 minutes. I'll put it that way. Like you're using your working memory by remembering the beginning of this recitation. That's the difference between sensory and working. Okay?
Thank you.
Like your working memory will remember like the general concepts of what I'm saying. Your sensory is gonna be like, okay, I can say exactly what you said. Like when my girlfriend's like, you're not listening to me, and I'm like, no, I know you exactly. You just said blah 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 blah, and I repeat it verbatim. I'm using sensory, okay? Working is bigger than that. Okay, do we feel good about explaining all of these? How do we feel about that?
Could you go over primary and procedural?
Yeah. So procedural is going to be, think about procedure, okay? It's going to be, like you start doing a step, you do a second step, you do a third step. It's all in your muscle memory. Priming also is an implicit thing, and it is more like, I think of commercials, you know? Like it's subconsciously trying to like influence you to buy shit because you've seen it randomly in the past, you know? Like I've passed 1 billion billboards and because of that I'm gonna buy Celsius instead of Red Bull, you know? That's priming. Do you see how one is muscle memory and one is more like implicit, kind of, yeah, more like casual memories, more like subconscious memories?
There's like
But
things you
if
already
they're
know
both
and then
implicit, then what's the, why would one be like muscle memory?
So priming can be like visual, it can be like all of the motor things, I would say. I would say procedural is more of like just physical. For example, people who have procedural memory problems usually have Parkinson's, and so they forget how to walk, or they forget how to lift their arms, and that kind of thing. That's an example of procedural memory loss. Priming, I just mainly associate with like subconscious learning. In any way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be procedural. Okay. Can someone tell me the difference between sensory and working? Because I just went over it.
30 minutes versus seconds.
Okay. Yeah. Slay. I've heard enough out of you today. Can someone give me the difference between iconic and ecolic?
Iconic is like visual and ecolic is audio.
Yeah, great job, Alice. What about implicit and explicit? Yeah, yeah, you got it. You got it, Sam. Implicit is you cannot verbalize. Explicit is you can verbalize. What about the difference between episodic and semantic? Yep.
Semantic is just like the general knowledge you have, like facts and like about the world and trivia. Episodic is like recalling something that's happened to you. It's like storytelling.
Yeah, autobiographical, for sure. And last but not least, priming versus procedural, which I am kind of like, I've never really confused the two, but I'm not as sure about their differences. I'll look into it and I can send out an email. I just mainly think of procedural as riding a bike, tying shoes, knowing how to use a pencil, knowing how to type on your computer. You're not actively thinking about like A and B and C. You're just like, and that's procedural. Priming is more of like, it happens over time. It's implicit, so you can't really verbalize, oh, I know I'm buying this product because I've seen it on this billboard and that billboard and this billboard. It's more of like a subconscious thing that happens to you. Okay?
Can your past personal experiences prime you?
Absolutely. For example, if you have like, I don't know, my friend is like, oh my god, I had like such a bad like experience with Libras. I'm never gonna date a Libra again. That wouldn't really be implicit because they can verbalize it, but that would be example of priming. I feel like priming can be applied to a lot of these things, but he put it under implicit, and I'm not gonna argue with him because he makes it best. So, yeah. Like priming for semantics is the lexical decision task, where it's like scalpel to doctor, scalpel to teacher, you know. But you know, whatever he says goes. Anyone have questions about this? Going once, going twice. Alright, then you are free to go. Actually, before you leave, everyone take down the tape. Because I'm not doing that for like 4 different rounds. Y'all take down the tape.
Should we get our
Yeah, and I'll give out your tests once all the tape is off the walls. Okay. Okay. Yeah, line up here. I might call names. Yeah, I might call names. Just trash it. If the trash is not here, then like.
Was it here?
Thank you. Akape. I still need an exam from you. Yeah. Okay, slay. I'm gonna call names because I just like cannot read right now. Kaylee?
It's outside.
Yeah. Wilson? Yojang? Andre's not here today. Brian, I saw you today. Alice, I saw you today. Good job answering stuff in class. Kevin, I saw you. No, Kevin. You're not Kevin. You're Henry. Why did you reach for it? Amy, I saw you. Slay. Andrew, I saw you. Grace, Slay. Caitlin. I just saw Caitlin. There you are. Slay. Isabel. Not Isabella. You got it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Email me about the retake. Kyle. Henry, there you go. Great job.
And I got another white in my previous session because I haven't been switching to this session.
Okay.
So is that really hard to my
I'm going
grades?
to. No. I'll fix it. Don't worry. It's not
Thank
permanent.
you.
Victor, I just saw you.
Thank you.
Victor. Oh, yeah, there you are. Okay,
See you.
sounds good. Isabella, not Isabel. Bye. Abdul, I did not see today.
Thank you.
Yeah, peace.
Which contract have you take the attendance
student because I came late. So
It
Yeah, I
should
did
be
it
on
then.
there. Yeah.
yeah, I did it.
Genesis. Okay. Imani. Kira K? Did I see Kira today? Kira? I definitely saw Kira today. Where's Kira? Bro, okay. Vedant, there you go. Thank you for waiting. I think I can spell him. Wilson, right? No, okay, sorry. Samantha, there you are. Laura's not here today. Ratika's not here today. Mm-hmm. All right. Did I give it to? Okay.
No,
Yes,
so
you did.
this is not mine. Like I don't think I took this one though.
Oh, you didn't
Anyways,
take this one.
I
Did you
took-
get my email about the retake?
Yeah.
Okay, did you respond to my email about the retake?
I saw it tonight today morning, so I was doing it right now.
Email me the quiz that you want to make
Yeah, I'll
up.
do it
It's
right
on Wednesday. It's at 5. You made the
Yeah.
recipe.
I
Yeah.
just want to ask about like the attendance today though, like because we didn't have the comp today.
Yeah, it'll be pushed to next time.
Oh.
He's off schedule, and we've gone so fast that we're ahead. So today's just a chill day.
Okay.
I wanted to do an activity instead. Go.
Thank you.
So I think this afternoon I should talk to Professor Moss.
Mhm.
I was wondering like how I should approach because I feel like I'll be sending him too much emails.
No. He
Perhaps.
appreciates it. I'm
He
telling you right
appreciates-
now. Imagine you're getting 100 emails a day and you want to respond to them, but you just have too many, you know. It's
Right.
really great that you're going in person, you're showing initiative, and I know that it's not annoying to him because he has too many emails. He gets like 100 emails.
Okay,
Like-
so it won't really annoy him?
It won't annoy him, and what I would ask is be like, okay, you don't have to respond to me over email. Just give me the emails I need to email them.
Okay.
Okay, so ask for the emails of his, I think he had a PhD student
Yeah.
doing something with math. I'm sorry, I'm like not a math
Yeah,
person.
it's okay. I think most of the names he talked about are on the website, like the email
Oh,
address.
you found them?
Yeah, I found them.
Oh,
But
wow.
I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it's appropriate if I just email his students directly, like.
So what I
feel
would
like I
do.
need his permission to do
No.
that.
What I would do is be like, I'm going to send an email to you and your student later today, and can you just respond confirming that like you know me or confirming that this is good, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And so attached to both of them. It's not weird, especially because he can confirm that he knows you.
Okay.
If you were just lying and you were some random person, then it would be weird. But
Right.
it's totally fine. Yeah. If you found the email, then be like, okay, I've written out the email I want to send to your PhD person. Can I have your confirmation on it? And then just show it to him maybe, and he'll be like, yeah, that sounds great. Like I'll also maybe reach out to her or something like that if he doesn't forget.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another thing is I know he talked about like a lot of research, like he seems to have many projects going. Should I aim for like getting into one or should I just like being like broad? 'Cause, like he talked to
Yeah.
many with me,
Mhm.
like during his office hour, but like
He's in charge of the PhD program for social psychology here. So he has many PhD students in his lab.
right.
And if you want, I don't think that you want to do this, but if you work with him in undergrad, he will review your application for social PhD if you want it.
I see. Okay.
But I don't think you want that. So I would focus on asking if there's any research he needs done in any field, and then also show that you're interested in that one additional one.
So, like, my question is, should I let him choose to place me into which project, or should I kind of figure out a project and be like, I want to be in this one? Cause like
I would ask him about just anywhere he needs you. Just try to get your foot in the door of the lab,
Right.
because I have a sense that he's just super all over the place and disorganized.
Right.
So keep nagging him. I sometimes have to send out over 3 emails,
I see.
but I get a response, so.
Okay, that's.
So you're not being annoying, you're being persistent, and you are
Okay.
fighting those 100 other emails, okay?
Okay.
But I think you would have a 100% better chance at getting it in person.
Okay.
Okay.
Got
And
it.
I'll be there.
Thank you so
Mhm,
much.
of course. Great job on the exam or
Thank you.
on the comp check.
Bye.
Peace.